Okay. Hello and welcome to the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. Every week we bring to you a new program about education, technology, innovation, humanitarian service. My name is Mitty Chang. I'm president for this Rotary Club. Normally we have a program with a guest speaker who talks to us about something cool that they're working on or what the organization does or company does. This week we actually have a special program, and it is our four-way test speech contest. So we have two contestants who are at the high school level, and they will be delivering their speeches. And Yvonne, our youth service chair, is going to come up here and explain the rules for this contest, and you each will actually be able to watch your speeches. Yvonne.
Thanks, Mitty. So this is a really exciting opportunity for us, and we are so thankful to have some Rotarians out from our club in support of this, and as well as our contestants. The rules the contestants have already been briefed about, but here they are. The students aren't going to be identified by names when they speak. It's only going to be by letters that they've drawn ahead of time before the speech contest. And no names are going to be used during the speech at all. And they're also not allowed to refer in any way to their school or to where they're from. And they are allowed to use whatever space they have up here so they can wander around. They don't have to stay in one space. Judges are not to confer with each other, and we will introduce the judges afterwards at the end of the contest. The theme of the speech is our Rotary International theme, Rotary Serving Humanity. So the speakers are required to incorporate that theme into their speech. And they also have to incorporate at least one of the four-way tests. So that would be, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Is it beneficial to all concerned? At least one of those four had to be incorporated. And there can be no question about whether or not it's actually in there. In addition, their speeches have to be between 4 and 5 minutes. It cannot be under 4 minutes or over 5 minutes. If they violate any of those times, they will be penalized some points. The timing begins as soon as they first speak. For audience members, please remember to turn off your cell phones. No flash photos are allowed, but you can take pictures if you would like to. Please be respectful and quiet. We will not applause after each speaker. We're going to have one big applause at the very end to thank our speakers, and we will announce a winner at the end. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring up speaker A to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will be presenting the issue about immigration and how it is viewed in today's world. 20 years ago, my family came to the U.S. from Vietnam, fleeing persecution after the Vietnam War, and to seek opportunities for a better life with employment and education for them and their children. When my mom first came to California, she would often tell me stories about when she first arrived and the fear she felt assimilating into a society that she feared would not accept her. A society where she had very little family members other than the ones that arrived with her. And that fear was justified when she attempted to look for a job, and she was often rejected because of her lack of fluency in English and her lack of knowledge of the American culture. In today's society, we take immigrants for granted, but then I cannot deny the sacrifices my family has made moving here, trying to look for a better life for my family, for my sisters and I. And I believe that this is the story for many other immigrants that come to the U.S. looking for opportunity, but then are faced with often discrimination and racism. It's although immigration are the building blocks of American society, especially now, there are some people that view immigration as the problem, that they're bringing crime or they're ruining the economy, all of which I do not agree with. So before I begin, I would like to define what an immigrant is. An immigrant is someone who migrates from one place to another, usually for permanent residence. And this could be whether legally or illegally. Most of the time, it could be fleeing from a war-torn country, fleeing persecution or practice of a religion that's banned, or practicing free speech. Sometimes being forced to come to the country out of slavery, indentured servitude, or human trafficking, or like most immigrants, to seek a better life where the chances of safety, employment, security, financial stability, and education are at a somewhat guarantee. No matter where you are, who our relatives are, what race, skin color, or why we came here, we all come to a country. We all come to the country to reap human rights, such as freedom of speech and religion, protection from harm and discrimination, and the opportunity to seek for better employment and education. And many immigrants use those rights to their advantage to make great things out of their life, such as Jaime Lucero, David Ho, and Rita Moreno, who are some of the most influential immigrants today. So to conclude, I see America and other countries as not being melting pots where everyone has to assimilate together, but as mosaics, where people are different pieces with different stories, lifestyles, and aspirations.
Thank you, Speaker A. So while the judges are finishing up tallying their points for Speaker A, those of you who are in the club know that besides Youth Service Chair, I also have a very important role of being the Lady of Lols, or you can also say the Lady of Facepalms. So I'm going to grace you all with some very great jokes. In case you didn't know, behind me is the San Jose State University Public Library, or the Martin Luther King Jr. Library. I'm a San Jose State student, and I thought it would be appropriate to tell you some great library jokes. So here we go. What is the tallest building in the world? The library, because it has the most stories. I'm getting laughs. Nice. It's so great to actually hear real laughs, because when I send these jokes over to our president, Mitty, I don't know what the actual reaction is. Because some of you guys just type, ha, 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 great jokes, Yvonne. I don't know if you actually mean it. But here I'm actually getting genuine laughs. Great. What do you call a nervous javelin thrower? Shakespeare. Yes. It's great. Oh, that didn't get as much of a reaction. Let's try this one. What do you call a book that's about the brain? A mind reader. Ooh, that one's a little bit clever. What section of the library can you get bitten by a snake? History. Okay. Judges, if you could give me up like a 1 or a 2 for 1 or 2 more minutes, if you guys need it. Okay, it's another minute. You guys get another minute of my great jokes. What do dogs and storytellers have in common? They both have tails. People have tails. The crowd here is slowly dying. What has a spine but no bones? A book. What did the librarian say to the astronaut? Find space for a book. Okay. Great. So the judges seem to be finished.
Wait, like 10 more minutes. Keep going.
Don't worry, I have more. I can go all day. I'm going to bring up Speaker B. Speaker B, come on up. So last summer, I volunteered for a program called Read, Write, and Discover. It was a local program at my library, and I was assigned to tutor 2 kindergarten students. Their names were Max and Christina. Now, this was the summer right before my senior year, and I was already quite accustomed to the typical community service volunteer routine. You sign up, you volunteer, you provide assistance, you sign out, and you get your hours. I did not know whether it was my ignorance or my selection of events, but the particular events I went to didn't make me feel like I was benefiting our community. This was all before last summer. Max and Christina, they were both 5, and they were the wittiest and brightest kids I've ever met. And their youthful innocence confided in me. Max and Christina were both Hispanic, but they were from different families and were definitely undergoing different circumstances. Max had 5 older brothers, and he would walk from his apartment homes near the library to the library each day with a new sibling. Christina, on the other hand, lived with her mom and her 2 older brothers. I remember asking her about her father, and she responded, "I do not have one." And in the haste of tutoring my 2 students and in the haste of getting to know my own 2 students, I forgot to stop and listen to the other youthful chitter-chatter and laughter that surrounded me. The facility was filled with kids, and not just ordinary kids, but kids who were undergoing similar situations to that of Max and Christina. And to my oblivion, to my narrow-minded perception of society and my community, I realized kids and families like this exist right here in my community, right here in San Jose. And so that brings me to my 2 points, apathy and our youth. We hear this a lot, but indeed, our youth is our future. And so I think back to Max and Christina, and I think back to my summer. They would always hold their pencil incorrectly, but they were still able to write. What if 10 years later, that pencil became a cigarette, or even worse, a weapon? Kids like these 2, whose parents were too busy working 12-hour jobs, who were once so eager to learn, will succumb to crime and will drift off into the path of uncertainty and unpredictability if we allow it to do so. If we were truly doing our part in the community, if we were truly building goodwill and bettering friendships, if we were truly being true to ourselves, being true to others, we would not allow ourselves to be numb to the situations that we know are happening. This is our community, and we may or may not know it, but crime and poverty is prevalent and will continue to persist if we do not do something about it. And how convenient is it that we have young yet powerful people ready to make a difference? The youth is our solution, and they are the impetus to the change in our community. So instead of neglect, let's learn to foster mental and emotional growth in the youth, and let's provide guidance that will allow motivation and morals to stay perpetuated and constant throughout their life. Let's start listening and understanding so that we can reassess the situation instead of allowing our ignorance and our apprehension consume us. Because while these kids may not have the mental caliber to solve the simple addition problem or read the simple 3-letter word, they do have potential, and I don't think we should ever give up on this potential. We do not have control of the future, but we are able to influence those that make up the future. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker B. And for our speech contest, we do only have 2 speakers, so that is it. We're going to take this time to give them a round of applause. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of guts to come up here and make a speech. Not many people know this, but I was actually a participant in this very same speech contest 10 years ago when I was an interactor at New York Memorial High School.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa, I just aged myself. And it was nerve-wracking for me. I remember standing in front of my Rotary Club, and I think that was maybe the first or second time I had actually seen all of my Rotarians who sponsored me, and they were just staring at me. And I was up there really gripping the podium, and they don't have a podium here to grip, but over there I had a podium, and I delivered. I won the speech contest for the club level. I went to the area level, made it to runner-up, but it was such a good experience. But in that moment, it's so nerve-wracking, and any kind of public speech, no matter how many speeches you've done, it's nerve-wracking and it's hard. So I really commend these 2 for really taking a step up and taking on the challenge and honing their public speaking skills. You probably want to know who these speakers are, so I'm going to read you their bios that they sent in to me. Speaker A is Kenny Tran, who is a senior at KIPP San Jose Collegiate. He will be graduating as a class of 2017, and he is the treasurer of his school's Interact Club. He plans to major in either computer science or electrical engineering and minor in dance at a 4-year college. He hopes to pursue a career in the technology industry as a computer programmer and engineer. His long-term goals are to build up his own startup company that seeks to incorporate STEM innovation with humanitarianism. He is passionate about social justice and activism, especially for people of color, immigrants, women, and refugee rights. He loves to travel to new places and learn about different cultures and languages, with Japan being his goal destination. Our speaker B is Annie Deng, who is 17 and is a senior at Independence High School. As the Interact Area 6 Director in District 5170, Annie helps organize and inspire the Interact Club leaders of San Jose and Milpitas. Annie loves food adventuring, me too, around the Bay, and aspires to one day fulfill her wanderlust aspirations. So one more round of applause for our speakers. They've done an amazing job. And really quickly, our judges, you can see our first judge is Mr. John Lozano. He can wave. John Lozano is an educator at a K-8 school in San Jose. And we have Ken Oku in the back, who is our second judge. And he is currently a student at Ohlone College. He's majoring in computer science, I believe.
Yes.
And EECS, electrical engineering and computer science. So you two probably have a lot to talk about, the Ken and the Kenny. And he's also president of all the community colleges in the region. Oh my gosh. That's like mind-blowing. That's crazy. So they're both really good guys, and they've had experience working with youth, and I really thank them for taking the time to come out here today and be judges for our speech contest. Mitty Cheng, who's our president, was our timer, and he's also our teller, who is the person responsible for adding up the judges' scores. And sitting in between Ken and Mitty is Rachel Chu. She is an observer, but she is an interactor from Washington High School, and she is also the Area 5 rep for District 5170 Interact District Council. Mr. Teller, do we have a winner?
We do. But you have to say a joke first. Right?
I have to say a joke. Oh, I left all my jokes over there. Let's see.
What's your favorite joke?
My favorite joke is the first kind of corny joke that I ever heard in elementary school. And what do you call cheese that's not yours? Nacho cheese. That was the first one I ever heard, and that I knew from that moment I was destined to. Okay. So let's do second place winner first. Okay. In second place, drum roll please. We have Kenny Tran in second place, and congrats. So every winner does get a cash prize and a lovely little certificate. So there you are. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that means our first place winner is Annie And Annie will be representing our club at the area level speech contest taking place on March 15th, I believe, in Cupertino at 8:15 a.m., bright and early. So we will be helping you along with that. Thank you so much. You can have a seat. And I'm going to turn it back over to President Biddy. My roles are done.
All right. Thank you, contestants. Well, that's it for our program for this week. Thanks for watching, and make sure to leave a comment, as well as members and guests welcome to submit an attendance form, ask any questions you might have in the comments, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us this week. Bye now.